back knocking on heaven's door. Hi, Kevin Blanch. I'm going to put up a whole subset of videos on Mormons. I'm a Mormon. Born and raised Mormon. They still count me as one of them. I left the Mormon church at 14 years old. Manhattan, they still call me Lost Boy. I live right in the Mormon community. I've never left. I've been intertwined. Yeah, I tell everybody I am a Mason, as the Mormons were Masons, but I'm a real Mason. I split my own rock. I'm going to dive into the Mormon culture and the Mormon theology in a very, very historical context. You people that know that I put up my videos, you know I use the F word every other word. Fuck this. Fuck. I don't give a fuck who I offend. And I'm very Freudian. I like to fucking base everything on fact. Fact. And I say it all the time. I do not put up a video on any said subject matter unless I'm extremely knowledgeable. I'm a finance guy. I'm an ex-derivative trader, a Wall Street arbitrage specialist. I lost my job a couple years ago, replaced by a computer. I'm a plaster, 10,000 jobs across Utah. Everybody knows me in this community as the plaster. I tell everybody, yeah, I'm a Mason, I lay my own fucking rock. But my number one subject, bar none, as far as my brain goes, my education goes, is Mormon history. I live it, I eat, sleep, drink it my whole life. I have Mormon documents and things the Mormon church would give their right arm to have. I am the great-great-grandson of Ike Potter. I come from extremely famous bloodlines. My grandmother was a Mormon historian on both sides. I come from, like I said, I was raised in this thing. I still live in it. My parents' house right there, my grandparents' house right there, my great-grandparents right there. And I'm going to put up these videos. I'm going to put a whole series of them to try to get rid of some of the fallacies about Mormonism. Look, I'm a historian. I've been working on my PhD for the last 2 years. It's done. I call it post-ignorance. It's about economics. It's about the social fabric of how fucking dummied down society is and how fucking moron ignorant we are. But I'm a historian. I have eat, sleep, drink, and fucking Mormon history my whole life. I'll go toe-to-toe with anybody. All the historians around here know me. I don't get into controversial subject matter. I get into the truth. Facts. Now, if you want to know a lot about Mormons, first I say this. The Broadway play, you know I spent a lot of time in Manhattan. The Broadway play, the Book of Mormon, is so on it, it is unbelievable. Those guys are so on it when it comes to the Mormon ministry. It's so good. It does tell a lot. I mean, it's so on it. 2, read the interview of John Huntsman. He's like me. As Mormons as we evolve, I still get counted as a Mormon. In a Mormon families, half go one way and half go the other. I got raised by these dynamic men on this farm. My uncle, Normandy Beach D-Day veteran, real pillar of the community. My other uncle flew with the Thunderbirds, fighter pilot, real famous guy, professional football player, freaking athlete. Everybody knows him. My father, the nuke Marine who was killed. I mean, they all used to say, Kevin, I have a brother who's an athlete. They would all say one went one way and one went the other. That's how we play here in Utah. That's how it is. And Marie Osmond grew up right here in this town. She's a perfect example of the Mormon female. She's a perfect example. You know, her son committed suicide recently. I doubt she even knew his name. You know, she gets this big, then this big, then this big, then this big. And the Mormons don't drink, but they sure pop pills. It is the pill epidemic in the world. It is the suicide capital of the Western Hemisphere, and they sweep it under the rug, and it really pisses me off. The Mormon community will not address it. The young Mormon men are killing themselves in droves in Utah. They're committing suicide left and right. It is the suicide, and no one will address them. Oh, they're in a better place. And the national statistics you look up will say we're 9th, which is a sure fallacy. There was a new study that came out yesterday that says Utahns are the number 1 stressed people in the country. Well, I'll tell you why. Because it's religious pressure. And they explode. These young people can't handle it. It pisses me off. Now, as you're a Mormon, you're an anti-Mormon, you hear me out before you start jumping on me. I'm going to do a whole subset of things. Like I said, I'm going to dive into facts. And I'll go toe-to-toe with anybody in the world. I've got information. And everybody knows in all the university archives and all the libraries and everything. And I come from extremely famous Mormon lines. Like I said, I have things that the Mormon church would give their right arm to have. I've been working on a book for well over 2 years. My PhD is all done. It's called Post-Ignorance. I'm a socioeconomist. I dive into the facts and the truth about the Mormon roots, which are incredible. This tale that I'm going to tell is incredible. I'm going to lay it out on YouTube. And my book, I don't have a publisher for it yet. I'm getting to the end. And the end, like I said, I've been researching and studying for this book for years and years and years and years. The very end, I'm going to retrace my bloodlines, which I've been working on. could go back to Denmark and go back to Switzerland. And I'm a big believer that you're born with so much in your DNA. And the girl I was dating a few years ago, born and raised in Denmark, she used to say to me, Kevin, I can't believe how Danish your tastes are. You know, but that's my bloodlines. My real name wouldn't be Blanche. The Mormons, a lot of names changed through adoption. My name's Mickelson or Anderson, but I believe that your bloodlines really tell the tale of who you are. And I think, I say it all the time like this: life is more than who we are. And our story was written long before we were conceived. And I'm a big believer in that. And I don't care what your philosophical idealism is, I'll break it all fucking down. I'll break down your anti-Mormon shit. I'll break down your positive shit. If you think I'm anti-Mormon, you're positive, I'm neither. I'm the fucking truth. And when you get into theology, I say it like this: I don't believe any of it, and I don't disbelieve any. I don't fucking know. Just like I don't think anybody fucking knows. I believe that fucking organized religion is nothing more than fucking generational arrogance. I think I'm Freudian. I think people use it for sex. I think they use it for sex. I think it's a sex thing, and the fucking Mormons sure have over the fucking years. I think my famous grandfather, Abraham Hunsaker V, his Uncle Al, who was a multi self-made dynamic man. He was a movie star in Hollywood for years. You say all the time, I used to love it. He says Brigham Young was nothing but a sex fiend, and he would know. Oh, this guy was a womanizer, you know. But I'm not going to dive into that. I'm not going to say, oh, whether he was this. I'm laying out facts. I'm going to do it from very marquee Mormon historical places that a lot of more, the rocks they went to push down, I've held them in my hands. I've been inside the original, I restored the original Masonic Temple. I single-handedly saved it myself. I have written documentation who will break down into the economics and how this whole country has evolved via right here, the Mormons. I have stuff the Mormon Church would give the right arm, and I'm going to give it to you guys free on YouTube. My book's going to be almost done. When it's done, I'm letting all my YouTube viewers have it free. All of it. I don't even have a publisher. This is the walk I'm going to walk. And like I said, I'll go toe-to-toe with anybody. You people know how I go off on finance. You know how I go off on nuclear radiation. You people know I use the fuck word every other word. You know I don't care who I offend. I really don't give a fuck. I surely don't fear anybody. And if you think I'm going to dive into the theology, say, oh, this theology's fucked up, look, you start talking about religious theology, it's all pretty kooky. Now, whether you believe or not believe, that's a personal thing. I'm surely not going to challenge your belief system on your religious theology. That's a personal thing, but I'm surely going to lay out facts, and boy do I know facts. Oh, do I. I've researched this my whole life. Like I said, all the universities know. I've been hanging around these university archive libraries. I have a PhD in this said subject matter. I've been hanging around in these places from day one. When Hoffman was forging all the documents in the early 80s, I used to talk to him. You know, all these famous Mormon writers, whatever, I know freaking serious ties about them. I have things that were left to me that I have found that, like I said, the Mormon Church would give their right arm to have. I'm going to lay this out in factual detail. Mormons don't drink. It's true. They pop pills. It is the pill popping capital of the world. It is extremely beautiful here. It is incredibly beautiful. I used to say it all the time. The Mormon females were like this when I grew up. Rich, beautiful, smart. So true. We lived in one of the richest freaking counties in the world right here when I grew up. Now it's one of the poorest. Now, rich, smart, beautiful, just beautiful. That's what we are. Utah is incredibly beautiful. And I'm going to start shooting vistas of some of these beautiful marquee cities, and I'm going to lay out facts that historians and writers have never exposed, that I have exposed. And I've been very careful to take care of my domains, register my copyrights when I start releasing this information, so you fucking cheating liars that try to thieve this fucking shit out of my brain, you're not going to be able to. And if you try, I'm going to sue you. Seriously. Because I'm not going to allow it. Because I've spent my whole lifetime and I know facts and theology and words and names and things that'll blow fucking the lid off a lot of fucking things and a lot of fallacies. And if you want to know a lot about the fucking Mormons, first, and you stay with me, I'm going to put these up every day, every other day. And I'm going to walk through this. In the end, I'm going back to Denmark. I'm going to Switzerland. I've traced down my family there. I'm going to go back, and I'm a big believer that, like I said, life is more than who we are. And fucking our bloodlines determine our DNA, determine our taste, our sex, everything. And my taste and my sexual freaking preference and everything are so, and I'm very Freudian. You guys know that. I think religion is used for sex. I think it is used for fucking power. And not just in the Mormon theology. The evangelicals. You think the fucking Mormons are fucking extreme? What about the evangelicals? As the Mormons go, the country goes. As the Mormons become more liberal, when I was born in the 60s, the country becomes more liberal. As the Mormons become more conservative, as the country becomes more serious. They are contemporized. And I'm going to lay out and prove facts to you guys, and stay with me. Marie Osmond is a perfect example of the Mormon female. Cuckoo! Oh yeah, they don't drink, but she's a pill popper this big. Son commits suicide. Suicide rate off the hook. Her son's a perfect example. And the Mormons say, oh, they're in a better place. It really pisses me off that the Mormon freaking people will not address this. It is evil. That is evil. The suicide thing is epidemic here. I have railed to all the universities. I've railed to everybody. Nobody will do anything. There's been money left. The philanthropists in this freaking community who have run, their freaking heirs ought to all be fucking ashamed of themselves. Because they sure didn't appropriate the money that their heirs left. And there are gargantuous philanthropists that came out of this fucking town. Gargantuous. And their heirs have fucked off the fucking money and surely didn't put, and I've read every one of these guys, what the money was left for. Suicide prevention. Alcohol and drug prevention. Did it go there? Hell no. And I'm going to get into this a lot because it really is a passionate subject to me, how they're letting their young fucking men die. And how they're throwing away the fucking key on a lot of them. And our incarceration rate, as far as the prison and the fucking drug problem that we have in this fucking state is real. It's very real. Because we pop pills here. We don't drink. Because we're in denial. And is it theology? No. I'm not going to dive into that. I mean, I'll tinker with it. I'm going to lay out fucking facts. Facts. You stay with me from very marquee Mormon landmarks that have been forgot about. I'm going to do some very incredible visits because this place is incredibly beautiful. And you know what? I live right among it. I don't participate. I do get caught lost boy in Manhattan. I left the Mormon church at 14 years old. But I live in it. And I'm going to lay it out. And I am a historian. I have a PhD in this subject matter. And my book, I've been working on for a long time. You YouTube videos know where I'm going with all this. And I'm going to lay it out, and I'm going to start laying out fast, and I'm going to do a whole subset of videos about Mormons. And like I said, the Broadway play, the South Park Boys did, boy, is that on it. You know, my brother and I, we grew up, my dad used to say one went one way and one went the other. My brother went on a mission. I tell everybody I've been on a mission for years. You know, had hair down to here, drinking, freaking, that's the way it is here. And it's the same with the females. It's one extreme or the other. It's an incredible tale, this place, and I'm going to tell it. Kevin Blanch.